Hey guys, Debs here, bringing you a video on my Lego Super Nintendo controller. And this is my first time bringing you commentary in post-production, and the reason is because I was recording this video and I don't know what I was doing, but I just kept misspeaking all over the place, and it turned out really incredibly bad, and I absolutely hated it. So I just decided to do it in PPR. Here you can see me comparing the size of the Lego model to the actual Super Nintendo controller, and it's quite a bit beefier than the actual controller, but I had to do that to include some of the details, like the slanted start and select button and the indented D-pad, which I'm really happy that I managed to include. I really didn't have the right colored pieces for the buttons, so I decided to use the Super Famicom color scheme just because those pieces didn't come in the two shades of purple that are needed to make it like 100% accurate. And if you look at the side of those pieces, there's lettering on them, which I can't really do anything about, but oh well, it still looks good. Now this creation is really just held together by those two 2x6 like curved slope areas on the side. That's all that holds it together. It's really just two halves. And it's a really fragile creation in all honesty. If you were to hold it up to the light, all the light would seep through because it's really gappy. And a lot of the pieces are held in exclusively by stress. I sunk in the D-pad using two 1x6x2 arches, and I put a plate in between each of them so that it would be a perfect circle. And a unique thing about these pieces is it's possible to slide in a tile, actually about two plates in between them, or a plate and a tile between them. And I use this unique attribute to sync in the D-pad. And the pieces required to sync in a D-pad, you really just need to attach it to something like a 1x1 brick with stud on the side. And the tiles I use that the D-pad part's actually attached to are the new 2x2 tiles with one stud in the center. And those are attached to a 2x2 round plate, which are attached to the 1x1 bricks with stud on side. And that's how it's all connected. It's not really too complex, even though describing it kind of is. But it's a pretty cool technique and can be used for a lot of different things. And here I'm just showing off the Lego Super Nintendo controller and explaining how the slot work for the start and select buttons are hidden by a 1x4x3 panel. Here I'm going to try to attempt to explain how to make the start and select buttons in PPR. Now first you're going to want a 1x4x3 panel to hide the snot work. And you're going to need to create a perfect slope with cheese slopes, which you can see are the little yellow ones. And to do that, you're going to need a minifig neck bracket, which create a half plate offset, which is needed to get a perfect slope with cheese slopes. And the best way to do that is to affix them to a 2x4 plate. And then once you assemble them in the fashion that's shown on the screen right now, you attach the bottom ones to those two green studs you see down there, the green 1x1 plates, and you gotta press them in firmly, which I would recommend using like another plate to make sure that they're pressed down all the way. You're going to want to place some cheese slopes on top of those minifig neck brackets. And as you can see, it creates a perfect slope. Now you're going to want to get like a 1x4 plate and then put two 1x1 plates and two 1x1 cheese slopes in such a fashion, and then press them on top of the minifig neck brackets on the top, and also make sure you firmly press those in. And the other pieces are just there to kind of fill in the gap that will be created on the top, which it could be different depending on what you're using it for. And once you put in the cheese slopes on the top and bottom, there'll be a space where you can shove in a 1x2 tile. As you can see there, I cut out a lot of just fidgeting around trying to get the piece in. It's quite hard to get in, and it's really stressed and really fragile. And I almost ended up breaking it right there, but fortunately I was able to fix it. So, just be really careful when you're building this. And the more pressed in the 1x2 tile is, the more stressed it is. So if I were to press in both tiles all the way, it would be bursting at the seams. So it's better to have them slightly sticking out. The more it's sticking out, the better. The more less fragile it will be. That's kind of a weird way to word it, but whatever. And it does create a really neat effect. But once you push in everything and you want to secure the top, that's where the most stress will come in, because as you can see there, the little 1x4 plate at the top is barely sticking out, and so putting in that 2x6 plate pushes it all together and really smushes it, so it's super stressed. Just be really careful when building so that you don't ruin it and have to restart all the way. And if you do push in a 1x2 tile in there all the way on accident, it's a little gappy on the sides, so usually you can get a paper clip and just bend it a little bit and shove it in the side, and then pull the 1x2 tile back up. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first time doing post-production audio, and I don't know really how well it translated to this video, but please leave a comment telling me what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.